Hey, good morning, everyone. Suzanne Taylor here for Intermittent Fasting Masterclass. How is everyone this morning? Let me know if you're here live. I had some little technical difficulties with Facebook this morning, of course, when you're trying to go live. So I'm here. Let me just put an announcement in the group, in my other group. And the way these master classes are gonna work, I am gonna come live almost every Friday unless I am away on vacation. And this is gonna be part of my new Inner Circle membership program that I'm super excited about. One, because it's gonna kind of streamline me a little bit, and it's going to make things a little bit easier as far as showing up online, being here more often, which is that's always a challenge in our busy schedules, to find the time to do all this stuff that we know we're supposed to do for our businesses, right? So when you work for yourself, it's pretty much, hey, Brenda, thanks for hopping on live. When you work for yourself, you really have to prioritize these times. And I know I wanted to be visible, be live here in the group more often for you guys. And I definitely have to get classes without a glare. But with that showing up, if it's not in the schedule, we tend not to do it as busy working women, men too. We really have to prioritize those things and put them in the schedule. All right, so looks like we have one person on live, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to introduce myself, and I am going to actually post this video on my YouTube channel as well. So I'm Suzanne Taylor. I am a holistic life coach, aromatherapist, positive psychology practitioner, and I use my medical intuition to help my clients craft wellness programs, fitness programs, eating plans, basically finding the wellness lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle that fits into your daily routine and actually making it happen, right? So that's the key. And I'm bringing you these master classes, one, as a way, instead of texting posts on Facebook and blogging, I feel like my personality comes through when I'm here live. I feel like you're going to get more out of it if you hear me speak and come from the heart. So that's why I really wanted to bring these master classes to you, and I'm going to have all the topics planned out for the next year. So from this week forward, I am going to plan out amazing content for you guys, and it's all going to be laid out in my membership program. That program is going to be less than $1 a day, and you're going to get content, programs, not only that, live master classes every Friday, and office hours. Office hours in a secret Facebook group where you can post your video questions. You can post your questions about wellness, healing, holistic lifestyle choices. So it's going to kind of be like having me in your back pocket, where you can call me or video chat in the Facebook group and message me at any time, and I will get back to you with answers to your essential oil questions, like, hey, what oil do I use for this? What food is good for this? What should I do if this is happening? And I have numerous clients who use me for that purpose every month, and it's really valuable to have that person to call and ask your questions. And I'll have weekly office hours, and I will also, if you need meditation, if you need weight loss, whatever programs you need, I'm going to have them on my website in a private area for you to access, ask questions, and make your own posts. So for less than $1 a day, you can get in on the start of that, which I'm super excited about. All right, again, let me know if you're here live. I'm going to open up another tab here on my computer so I can see anybody's questions for this masterclass on intermittent fasting. I have a bunch of new people here in the group. I think I have 9 or 10 new people here in the group just for this class. So super exciting. And I'll be following up with everybody. I'll be sending the videos out. If you would like the video of this class, you can just pop a comment here and let me know, and I'll make sure you get a copy of this video. All right, let's get started with this incredible content I have for you today. So the reason this happened, this topic, it's a super hot topic, intermittent fasting. It's all over all of the feeds I follow. I look at about 15 different health and wellness blog feeds from all different platforms across the internet, and a really common topic. So it's always fat loss, it's always weight loss, and this topic has come on my radar within the past 3 or 4 months. So I had always, when I was training for a figure competition about 4 or 5 years ago, I had used this, but to a limited extent. Meaning, I didn't really plan it, and I would get up early in the morning to go do my workouts, and I would just have my coffee, and I would head to the gym, and I wouldn't eat either until I got home, or sometimes, if I was busy, I would actually forget and not eat till after lunchtime. So that resulted in a mini fast from the night before until 1 o'clock the next day. So we're talking between 10 and 16 hours, right? And what I'm going to be talking about today is 24 hours. And I know, it sounds a little difficult, right? And let me know in the comments if you think this sounds difficult. And I want you to gain an understanding of how to incorporate intermittent fasting into your fitness and your weight loss plan. Yes, Elsie, 24 hours. I've done it 3 times so far in the last 2 weeks, and I'll go more into my personal experience with that shortly. But thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. So I want you to understand what this can do for not only your weight loss goals, but your digestion goals. So if you're struggling with some uneasy digestion, gas, bloating, constipation, any of those things, you can really get some incredible benefits from it. So if you have any questions as we go along, it looks like comments are coming up pretty much real time for me today. So if you have any questions as we go forward, just post them in the comments. And if I don't answer you while we're live right now, I will definitely come back to you and answer your questions. And I also have some amazing resources from my research that I did putting this class together, and to do this myself, I'm always really big on research. I have tons of links to share with you, which I will do after this class today in the comments. So make sure you come back and check those links, okay? Because there's going to be some really cool things for you to read from some of the blogs I follow. All right, so what is intermittent fasting? Where did it come from? It really comes from eating patterns of our ancestors, right? That it relied on this ever-changing and often unreliable source of food. And they often went long periods of time without eating. And when they did find food, they would eat a lot, share it amongst all the family or the tribe, and they didn't preserve things back then, right? You had to eat it when you had it and then go without when you didn't. So when you think about that, those eating patterns are kind of ingrained in our DNA. And part of you knows that overeating is never a good thing to do, right? But you'd be surprised how positive your body acts when you go lengthy time without eating, provided you're not under stress about it. So part of that is the mindset you have to have, attacking just doing water. Now I do tea. I have a cup of black coffee in the morning, and you have to adjust your mindset around that. And this whole new wave of intermittent fasting coming on the radar is really been studied. And I was amazed that there was actually research behind that. And I'm really big on that. So with any eating pattern, it doesn't come without its shortcomings. Now, I'm going to be talking about the advantages and the disadvantages. So I just want you to have an open mind and kind of, keep to the place where, yeah, it's going to be hard, but if you don't use that language, maybe you'll get more benefits out of it. So intermittent fasting usually involves varying periods of fasting by interspersed with shorter periods of eating. And during that time, your calorie deficiency for the period of fasting is always accounted for, right? There's several cycles of this which have been proven in the research to help you lose body fat without losing muscle. So by adjusting the pattern and the frequency by which you consume your meals, you're not going without calories. I just want to stress that. So when you fast, you are not skipping your calories for that day. So let me know if you kind of thought that was going to happen, right? If I normally consume between 1,400 and 1,800 calories a day. On the day that I fast, I still consume that amount of calories just in a shorter window of time. So I hope that alleviates some of your fear with intermittent fasting. So as a general rule, all weight loss programs agree that the best way to make weight loss happen is to restrict the amount of calories consumed in relation to the amount of calories or activity happening. And intermittent fasting is no different. So the restriction of calories only takes place during those fasting hours, and half of those are during sleep. Cool, right? And the importance of this cycle is to ensure that the meals you eat in between the fasting periods are balanced and contain enough nutrients to see your body through the fast. So there's numerous arguments for and against these patterns of eating in a shorter time window. And I'm not saying to do this every day. The optimal is 2 24-hour periods a week. You can start with trying it once. But it's worth learning these good and bad things, to see if it's something you might want to add in. Yes, Elsie's big on resources. Maybe I learned that from you. I'm going to post an article in the comments about some factors to consider before committing to this. And here's the upsides. Let's give the good points first, right? I'm not going to focus only on the negatives. So some aspects of intermittent fasting, the media with all the attention that it's getting, that the people who are undertaking intermittent fasting have experienced the following. Everywhere I've read, every resource says these benefits: lower incidence of cardiac complications, lower risk of diabetes, lower risk of inflammation and joint pain, and loss of excessive belly fat. So those 4 benefits in every study of intermittent fasting. Now, there were some other benefits too, but those 4 were the most common. They were in every single study I looked at. Yeah, fabulous benefits, right? So if you could benefit from just one of those things, it would be worth it to give this a try. So in addition to those positives, it can actually help regulate imbalanced hormone levels and cellular function. So that is because your body initiates cellular repair and changes to hormone levels to make stored body fat more accessible. All right, so did you hear that? When you go longer periods of time without eating, it changes your body's hormones, typically the fat-burning hormone leptin, Leptin. Know that hormone. If it's not active in your body, you're not burning fat at the highest level possible. So I know my goal with exercise and eating is to have my body functioning at that higher level of metabolism. And intermittent fasting is shown to increase fat burning by regulating your hormones. Why? Because we're not eating those foods that disrupt hormone levels. All right, so how much time does this actually take? So when you start to go into fat burning mode, your existing fat cells and hormones are called in to use and replace the depleted energy your body is receiving in the form of calories. This sustained period of time with no calorie intake, followed by a significant intake, sends your metabolism into overdrive, and as such burns more during digestion than would usually occur on a normal day. All right, I'm going to repeat that. When you go long periods of time without eating, and then you have a large intake of food, your body burns more calories, and in Ayurveda uses more digestive fire and turns your metabolism into a fat burning machine during digestion time than would usually occur during a normal diet. So that's called starvation mode. And by no means will you be starving. That's just what research has shown, and that's what they call it. And I have an awesome article on that as well to share with you. So while the overall benefits of fasting seem to be largely positive, right? It's even recommended by some doctors to help people get started on their weight loss goals. But with any weight loss program, there's some downsides to be aware of too. And, while the most appealing factors is that during the non-fasting hours, the meals you eat aren't necessarily specified as having to contain any particular amount of calories. However, I still recommend you eat a balanced plate. And this means that while you're meal prepping, everything isn't a requirement, but you still need to be relatively smart. You can't just go out and eat everything you want if you have weight loss goals or fitness goals for yourself. But you be smart about the foods and the portions that you choose during the non-fasting hours. But just because you've built up a calorie deficit over the fasting period doesn't mean you can eat anything you want for 8 hours and have no consequences. This is where most people fail with intermittent fasting. So it just helps to be aware that it's not only during the fasting hours that awareness of your body's hunger cues must be observed, right? So you have to listen to your body, and you have to hear when you're hungry. And we'll talk more about that next week. But intermittent fasting can also elevate the likelihood of developing, that overeating, because going a long period of time without food and then consuming all your calories for the day in 8 hours is going to feel like you're eating a lot. So I really want to stress that if you have an eating disorder, or if you're struggling with emotional eating, or you're struggling with binging or overeating, this is not the way to adjust your eating habits. You have to kind of deal with those emotional issues first, and then later, if you have fitness goals or body fat loss goals, then maybe you could try it. But I just want to stress that this is not a way to lose weight without eating healthy, without having healthy emotions around eating. It's not for you. So, hey, Linda, how are you? Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, just post in the comments. So if you're concerned about your attitude about food and whether or not it's healthy, I found a really good online test to determine your eating attitude. And I'm going to share that with you in the comments also. So it's kind of a fun test to take. All right, so the most common version of intermittent fasting was originally suggested in the book, The 8-Hour Diet by David Zinesco. And this book, I had it years ago. At least 5 years ago, I got this book. And in this book, he suggested that leaving longer periods between meals allows your body to properly process food and break down any excess fat cells. And that there's actually it's preferable to eating more numerous smaller meals during the day. And this was a whole new theory when he wrote this book. And I think it's kind of cool. Right? The good news is that those sticking to the 16 hours to 24 hours without eating and eating for 8, you actually sleep through most of that 16 to 24 hour window. Now, in his book, he suggested doing 16 hours almost every day and just eating in that 8-hour window. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, but the idea is if you follow his pattern of not eating early in the morning and then eating at 11 or 12 and then confining any meals to within an 8-hour window, leaving 2 hours after your last meal, before bed, right? So you don't want to eat right before bed. You want to have, eat your last meal at 8 and go to bed at 10. Following that same pattern every day, he suggested, simply put, going without food for 16 hours, it involved just skipping breakfast and then ensuring that your last meal is consumed 2 hours prior to going to sleep. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for hopping on. Sounds kind of easy to do it his way, but the main challenge is that during a period of 16 hours without food, you're fasting breakfast in the morning. And for anyone who has kind of gotten used to breakfast is like the king of all meals, most important meal of the day, the fitness media, the wellness media has shared that for years. I'm not a fan of breakfast. I love going without breakfast, but in all my nutrition training, I've been kind of conditioned that it's the most important meal of the day, and I've gotten in the habit of eating it. And that it should be a really nutrient-dense meal to provide nutrition and ward my hunger off. But that means if I'm used to that, like I prefer going without breakfast, maybe it'll be kind of easy for me to adopt that routine. But what I want to stress is no matter what you choose, it's going to take a little bit of experimentation to see what foods you eat the night before successfully maintain your energy levels in the morning till the following afternoon, right? So we really have to make smart dinner choices the night before in order to fuel us till 11 or 1 o'clock the next day. So that I'm going to share a link to an article about his diet and the principles, and you'll really like that too. So the most questions I get, and let me know in the comments, you guys, if you have any questions at all. So the biggest question I hear from people is that they actually, they don't feel as hungry during their 8-hour window. And that's kind of a cool positive element if it's reducing your hungriness during the day. And I know a ton of you are saying, oh, I'm always hungry, but are you really hungry? So this might make you a little more in tune with what your body is actually saying. And another positive note is that your calories aren't restricted during those eating hours. Meals and snacks can be consumed with the only guideline being that they're healthy, balanced, portion controlled. And let's not joke around. We all know what that is, right? We know what healthy is. We know what balanced means, right? And if you don't, it's protein, carbs, healthy fats, and lots of green on your plate. Let's be colorful with our food choices. But on this plan, there's no forbidden foods. But as your professional foodie person, right, I recommend avoiding overindulgence as much as possible. Don't give in to that urge to overeat just because you went without food for 16 hours. So binges don't arise. And so that you're aware of this danger, it helps if you break down your fast initially with a light snack instead of a huge meal. So that can help avoid urges to binge later on. So when you're coming off your fast after 16 to 24 hours, have something small. Have something light. I usually start with fruit. Now, liquids, when you're on a fast, during the 16-hour period, non-calorie liquids can be consumed. I have my coffee. Now, I will say, with my coffee, I pretty much drink black coffee, usually with a little bit of almond milk. But today, I am not having breakfast today. and I put a little bit of coconut oil just to flavor my coffee, just a little bit. Make sure that your non-calorie liquids like tea, like black coffee, like water contain no sugar. That's essential. It helps to take your time while you're eating, savoring each bite, even take a few minute break. My husband is really good at this. He takes a break at every meal and pauses, has his conversation, maybe gets up, gets some more water, comes back to the table, allowing his digestion to give him the signal that he's full. Linda's asking, are the type of foods important for cleansing the body that you break the fast with? Maybe not dairy and starch? Great question, Linda. And if you are cleansing and fasting, then of course, yes, important. If you are on some sort of restrictive diet, like me, I don't do gluten and I don't do dairy, then yes, also important. With how inflammatory dairy can be, I would definitely recommend not breaking your fast with dairy products. But that's a personal preference. If they don't affect you and you're not having a problem with chronic pain in your body, then break the fast with whatever you want. That's the kind of cool thing. So also, the types of food really don't matter too much, but in all of my research, they tried different diet plans. So high fat, high protein, balanced in general. And with all the fasting research, it really didn't matter what meal plan you were following. It was really, it didn't affect the results at the end. So with any food plan that you choose, whether you're eating paleo, whether you're on a restrictive diet, whether you're on a elimination diet for autoimmune disease, you can add small fasts into your routine, maybe twice a week. Not every day, but maybe twice a week. And now, I want to say it's definitely not suited for anybody. And, you know, you guys were all interested in learning more and learning how to do this. So I assume that you're interested in maybe using this as a technique to drop a couple pounds before summer or to get your appetite under control. And I want to just say that, you know, with skipping breakfast, so many studies over the last couple years have shown that the benefits of consuming breakfast within an hour of waking is beneficial to those trying to lose weight, eat healthier, and really be on track with clean eating. And that can be hard to change that thought or, you know, habit pattern in the morning to this different mindset. But the trick is just to try it one day without any expectations, without any anxiety, and see how you feel that morning. See if it fuels your workout in the morning. See how, you know, repeating that on another day, 2 days in a row. Yes, Tiffany's asking, is this a good way to kickstart weight loss? It's a good way to kickstart fat loss. So if you're working out, you're eating healthy, and you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to change that number on the scale. As women, what happens when we starve ourselves into losing weight? When we go on a super restrictive diet to lose weight, we can lose muscle mass, especially for those of us over 50. But the same rule applies. We don't want to lose muscle mass. We don't want to lose bone density. We want to maintain a healthy, clean eating, balanced nutrition. So sometimes women struggle with that. right? Because we want to see results on the scale for all of our clean eating efforts. Like, oh my God, I'm going without sugar, I'm going without alcohol. You want to see results on the scale. And I get it. I get it. What this can add to your routine is taking those areas on your body that have a little bit more fat than others. It can help you notice a difference in those areas quicker and help that number on the scale be all fat loss instead of just water weight, instead of losing muscle mass, instead of losing bone density. And I kind of think that's an awesome benefit. Let me know if you think that's kind of cool too. All right, so I know this can be challenging in the beginning. I want to talk about a different way of doing it. And this option involves fasting completely for 2 entire days a week and then following your normal diet patterns on the other days. During these fasting days, it's recommended you only drink water and the non-calorie liquids. And I actually do my negative calorie foods. Negative calorie foods are foods that contain less calories in them than what your body uses to digest them. And there's 3 foods: watermelon, cucumber, and celery. So on your fast days, if you're feeling like you need to eat something, those I say are a go. So in this, 2 days of fasting per week, that's what I'm doing right now. And I've done 2 days so far. Today's my day 3. So it's called the Stop, Eat diet if you want to do a search, but I'll have plenty of links for you to read. And so that's a longer fast period than the normal 16 hours. And it takes it to 24 hours. And it's exactly what it sounds like, the same as the other plan I talked about, but you go 24. So that means if you eat dinner at 7 o'clock at night, you're not going to eat again until 7 p.m. the next day. Now, this is a big stretch for a lot of people, but the first day I tried it, I found it very easy with just some watermelon and celery in the afternoon. And I only ate a small amount of it. And then for dinner, I'm going to let you know what I consumed. At dinner, my dinner needed to be 1,500 calories because that's my day's worth of food, right? I had a piece of salmon with olive oil. It was prepared really nicely, grilled salmon. I had grilled vegetables, a whole avocado, a cup and a half of brown rice, and a side salad. And it was a huge meal, and I actually ate it in 2 portions. So with the many different versions, some restrict your calories to like a minuscule amount. I don't believe in that. I really don't think that's healthy to go without food for a full day. Like, you really don't need to do that. And I want to talk a little bit about my theories on doing this. My thinking is that you need to feel strong. You need to feel powerful, right? You need to feel like you're making, a really good choice for your body. And if you think you want to try this, I want to say eating lighter, low-calorie snacks during your fasting day, plain fruits and vegetables or those non-calorie foods, and then eating one large meal might make more sense for you. So going from your nighttime meal, 7 p.m. till 11 the next day, or even if you're going to have a light breakfast of fruit. So I recommend, rather than, doing a 24-hour fast, like I've tried a couple times, to eating more light, low-calorie snacks during the day, fruits, vegetables, and then eating one larger balanced meal at nighttime. That for sure will result in weight loss, and you don't need to try intermittent fasting, so to speak, right? It's more of following a lighter, healthier meal plan. So I want to talk about a little bit how to change your mindset around this, how to start. So it's really about creating the mentality around it. Anytime you start a new, I don't like to call things diet, but as you start a new eating plan, a new way of eating, you can't expect to see immediate results. We are creatures of habit. And shifting away from our normal routine and exercise can take time to adjust to. So if you're just starting on the clean eating or paleo or weight loss journey, it's more of a mental thing than physical. And most research shows that getting rid of that diet restriction mentality is a must do. Let me know in the comments with a yes if every time you've decided to lose weight or change your eating habits, you call it a diet, and then all of a sudden you want all the things you're not supposed to have. That's when cravings start. That's when you want sugar. That's when you want wine. That's when you want a beer. That's when you want whatever your thing is. It becomes heightened because you've now said, I'm not going to eat that anymore. So this way, when you try intermittent fasting, it doesn't have to be hard. Linda says yes. I know pretty much everybody that's on here live. Tiffany's saying yes, right? I know it. I know it because it's every woman I talk to that says to herself, I'm going to go on a diet. I need to lose 10 pounds. And 3 days later, you're having something you're not supposed to have. One, it's self-sabotage. Two, it's the restrictive mentality. And what if we didn't have that? If you understand that you can't just decide to lose weight, you can't just decide to fast, but when you accidentally skip a meal or skip breakfast, what happens? You don't even notice that you did it, right? Your brain isn't saying, I wish I had had breakfast. I can't wait to eat. Oh, I missed breakfast. Oh, I can't. Oh my gosh, I'm starving. When you forget to eat breakfast because you're rushing the kids out the door, because your life is busy, or because you're late for work, your alarm didn't go off, and you forget to eat breakfast and you show up at work and you're like, oh damn, I didn't even eat breakfast today. You're noticing after the fact that it wasn't even hard to do it when you're not thinking about it. That's mindset. Yeah, right? I know. So the best way to do this is to plan. But let's just say if we're going to start it, if we're going to try it on a Monday, spend Sunday reading and getting yourself educated and what you're really getting yourself into. Make yourself aware of all the positive outcomes, and then, really understand that you can just decide to skip breakfast. Oh, I'm running late today. I'm going to skip breakfast. And if any of you are going to try this and you're unsure I want you to know, I don't want you to try it. If you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, if you have a history of an eating disorder, if you have diabetes issues or blood sugar issues, if you're prone to anxiety, this might not be good for you. If you're prone to fainting or getting shaky when you're hungry, might not be good for you. And ditching the diet mentality, which was the original name of this group till I changed it to my masterclass group. So much of dieting is focused on negative emotions, punishment of yourself for slip-ups or for depriving yourself on the diet. And if you just establish this healthy mindset surrounding weight loss and eating healthy, I want to tell you, you'll be 100 times more successful. And if you adopt the eating healthy 85% of the time, 85% of your day, 85% of your week, 85% of the month, and 85% of the year, you'll have weight loss. You will also feel healthier. You will have better cholesterol levels. You will have a lower body fat level. So creating those positive lifestyle changes, not going on a diet, not restricting yourself, right? Making those changes that incorporate healthy eating automatically leads to weight loss. So why go on a diet? Why restrict yourself? But do the 85% rule. And it can be, intermittent fasting can be used as one of those changes. It can be a simple little eating thing that you do a couple times a week or a month that help you regulate your metabolism, your hormone levels to its balanced state. Or you could just look at it this way. You're giving your digestive system a break from the constant work of digesting food. Because if you're eating every 2 or 3 hours, your system never gets a break. And we all know that quick fixes don't work. So let's not look at it like that. And know that successful weight loss must involve learning how to listen to your body. Feeding, moving, and being kind to your body when it needs you is the most important thing. And many weight loss programs, plans, diet overcomplicate things by cornering you into this belief. I mean, look at my bookshelves back there. I have read every major diet book that's come on the market, the hottest new thing, from Atkins to paleo to the 8-hour fasting diet to the fast metabolism diet to the slow carb diet. Every major one that's hit the presses, I've read. And you know what they all have in common? Eating healthy. It's just a different way of tweaking it. And Atkins diet that came out in the 60s is really paleo with some little extra tweaks. Paleo has some healthier tweaks. So paleo tweaked the Atkins idea and made it healthier. That's all these plans are. Hey, Teresa, thanks for joining. Let me know if you guys have any questions because I'm going to start to wrap up. And I want to just say, if you have experience achieving weight loss, I've achieved weight loss for myself numerous times from injury, from illness, and for hundreds of my clients. The most successful of my clients, the ones who have maintained it for years without gaining it back will tell you that the weight loss satisfaction, that stepping on the scale and having it be lower, that satisfaction ends. But learning to listen to your body, giving it the nutrients, the love, the self-care that it needs, and the movement, creating that lifestyle is way more satisfying than fitting into clothes that you wore in college. It's way more satisfying to take care of your body and actually like your body and what it does for you than stepping on the scale and losing 10 pounds in a month or 20 pounds in a month if you try to do that. And if intermittent fasting can help you tune into your body a little bit more, help you listen and actually learn what feeling hungry actually feels like, you can look at it as a tool to help you bring awareness to your body. And maybe notice some positive changes. All right, so now with intermittent fasting, and I talked about how it can change your hormone levels. This ultimately can release hormones that are necessary for cell growth and repair. And it's particularly effective regarding the hormones that have to do with metabolism, reducing insulin levels. It's extremely effective in lowering blood sugar levels, thus lowering your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So cancer research came up on my radar when I was doing intermittent fasting research, and it's been suggested in 2 different studies that it can trigger improved cell regrowth and immune system repair and assist your body in recovering from treatments such as chemotherapy. And this can actually trigger stem cell regeneration in one study, going prolonged periods without food. And I thought that was an amazing find in research. And HGH, human growth hormone, it's known to be one of the most highly affected hormones during a period of fasting. After just a 6-hour fast, this hormone goes into overdrive and starts producing psychological and physiological results in the form of increased metabolism, increased fat burning, and increased energy. And it produces amino acids that are used to improve your brain and neurofunctioning. And it also repairs collagen, helping your skin growth and repair too. So insulin and HGH work as opposites in this function. So insulin actually, can deplete collagen and deplete skin growth and repair, and it can also reduce your metabolism. So this is kind of cool that intermittent fasting might boost human growth hormone. And human growth hormone now is some of this synthetic craziness that people are actually doing in the bodybuilding and figure competition world to make you have a leaner body. So if you could do it naturally, that's kind of cool. Now, cardiovascular health, right? We talked about that. The bottom line, if you have any kind of health condition, you might want to talk to your doctor first. Now, men and women, where do we differ when this comes into play? It's definitely more successful in all the research in men, of course. This has to do with the hormones that are involved in metabolism and fat storage. And it takes, into consideration that women, a lot of us are less active than men. And it's interesting because men were typically the food, providers back in prehistoric days. And men have a different fat storage than we do as women, which is really interesting. And hormone levels, I know, when I read the study about it being more effective with men, I was like, what the heck, man? So of course, men's hormones are different, and it affects their hormone levels better than ours. And I want you to take in consideration your goals. There's no long-term research with intermittent fasting, and the long-term effects aren't known. We don't know right now what doing this for 10 years would do to your brain or your body. But I just wanted to give you the information I found in doing my own research for myself, trying to hurry up my fat loss a little bit, not exercising for about 6 months due to a neck and back injury and coming back to it. My weight hasn't changed that much, but my body composition had, and that's what prompted this research, me wanting to change that body fat into muscle. So I wanted to find the best way, being 51, to do that. So that's all the information I have for you today. Of course, I have all those links that I talked about to share with you, and I hope you'll read a little bit more about intermittent fasting and the ways to do it that I proposed. So there's the 8-hour off, 8-hour on rule with food. There's also the 16-hour off, and then there's the 24. So, it's really about picking what you think you can do, what you think is attainable for you, and then give it a try. See how your energy levels are in the morning, and see what it does for your workout too. So I typically work out in the morning, and the days that I work out, I don't eat breakfast before I work out. I've just kind of found that my workouts are better without food in my stomach. And let me know your thoughts on that. And if you have any questions before I wrap up, can you drink coconut milk while fasting? No, because it has sugar in it. Coconut water has sugar in it. So no coconut milk. Tea, coffee, water, anything with no sugar, no calories. And I definitely don't recommend any of those diet beverages either, Linda. Nothing with artificial sugar in it. None of those, Crystal Light drinks or anything like that while you're fasting. So keep it to black coffee, maybe with a little coconut oil in it if you need it. And regular tea, nothing added, and water. That's it during your fasting time. And then those calorie-free foods that I talked about also, watermelon, cucumber, and celery. No veggie juice. Nope. If you definitely need something during that fasting time, eating watermelon, celery, or cucumber and keeping it to a small amount is considered okay in what I researched. But veggie juice would be sugar. So because watermelon, cucumber, and celery take more calories burned to digest than they have in them, that's why they're okay during the fast time, if that makes sense. Anyone else have any questions for me, just put them in the comments and I will come back all throughout the day today. I know I'm going to have a ton of questions from people catching the replay. If you do catch the replay, put replay in the comments and then ask your questions. And that'll help me know who was catching during the replay and asking questions later. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this masterclass series today. I really appreciate it. There's some amazing, you're welcome, Tiffany. Thanks for being here. I'm going to have some amazing content planned out for you for the next year. And with that announcement, I will have all the details of this masterclass series and all the information that's going to come with it. And we're going to have programs, meal plans, my 2 published cookbooks, now I'm working on a 3rd one, and all of my insider information about living a natural, holistic lifestyle and helping you age slower, have more energy, heal your body naturally from whatever dis-ease is going on. It's more than losing weight, right? It's about living your best life, as happy as possible, as healthy as possible, and as full of gratitude as possible. And I'm going to go into all of that for less than $1 a day. And if you're interested in joining me and you want to hear about it sooner, before I have it all done, just let me know. Reach out. I'd love to talk to you guys. If you have more questions about intermittent fasting, just send me a private message. We can hop on a 15-minute phone call and I can direct you to some awesome resources or share a meal plan with you that'll help you get started. All right, guys, make today great, make today healthy, and make choices 85% of the time. It's not all or nothing, 85%. All right, have a great day, guys.